Hi, this is Bethany Gonyea, founder of Numinous, sponsor of the Albany Peace Project. And this video is to inspire people to create their own peace project in their own local cities or towns. But before I get started on that, first I'd like to offer 3 hearty thank yous. And the very first thank you is to Dr. Joe Dispenza. Dr. Joe, thank you so much for lending your talent, your time, your wisdom to the Albany Peace Project. Really, there's very few people on this planet that can speak to this work as enthusiastically as you, and you have a wonderful way of sharing that. And there have been times when we were unsure in the Albany Peace Project, and we would use some of your technologies, and they were incredibly helpful. So thank you for that. Also, a thank you to the Institute of HeartMath, which I can vouch is an organization that moves very well into the world from the heart. They have kind of adopted us across the continent, this city of Albany. They're in California, New York, and they have been incredibly gracious and kind with their wisdom and talents as well. And I'm just so excited about their new work in social coherence and the magnometers that they've placed around the globe to measure changes in consciousness. Just so thrilled and pleased to be watching that all evolve as well. But finally, I'd like to offer the heartiest thank you to those of you who watched the webinar and are now on this page as well. I cannot thank you enough because because the technologies of Dr. Joe and the Institute of HeartMath will just lie dormant if people like you don't start embodying them, don't start living them, don't start owning them and bringing them out into the world. So really, it is people like you that will make this research work. All they've done is set the stage, but we need people like you to help step up and bring this work out into the world. To that end, what I'd like to do is just share some ideas with you to help you fortify and strengthen your efforts, like kind of your inner resolve, and then also offer you some very practical tips on where to start. So by the end of this video, hopefully you'll be not only inspired, but have a real almost to-do list that you can follow as you bring this work out into the world. So one of the first things I want to talk about is why I had the courage to do it and what was it that gave me the strength. And what happened was I worked in the field for over 20 years of biofeedback. And biofeedback essentially is the art and science of teaching people how to use the mind to positively influence the body. So how to use the mind to lower blood pressure, how to use the mind to abort a migraine headache. And with the Institute of HeartMath, they use an M-wave that measures heart rate variability. So how to move the heart into heart rate variability, which creates clarity, coherence, and optimal functioning. So what would happen is, these over 20 years of me doing this work, is I would observe how the mind has impact. Where wherever you focus the mind in the body, there is an impact, and the impact is reliable and repeatable. And so when you really watch and learn and you start to live this understanding that the mind has impact, you start to be much more respectful and much more discriminating about what it is you allow your mind to ruminate upon. And so as time went on, not only did I move from that research, but that understanding, but I also got exposed to prayer research. And prayer research is about doing the same thing, focusing the mind only not in the body, but out of the body. Specifically, the prayer research for plants and seeds were particularly powerful for me. So it's this idea that when we send our intentions to plants, they grow taller, and to seeds, they germinate faster. That when we do that, there's this reliable and repeatable result that when we focus our healing intentions on plants, they grow more. So hold all that in your heart, because as we bring it out into the world with people, it's a little bit trickier. People are more complex, but really hold true to this intentional research and the plant research to know that what you are doing does have an impact, even if it may take you a little bit to really kind of start to reap the results of that which you'll be working on. You're going to have to hold the thought, hold the note over and over and over again until you start yielding the results. One other concept I thought I might share that might encourage you is the fact that in the beginning of the Albany Peace Project days, I would often do Dr. Joe meditations, and I would move my mind deep into the nervous system. And what I found curious is I would have these kind of spontaneous visions about the American forefathers and their leadership throughout different generations. And I found this really odd and really curious because I am no history buff, and I am much more about the future than about the past. And so I knew that when I was kind of observing these conversations among these American leaders, I knew I should pay attention. And what I found is as I was paying attention, I started noticing that they were discussing this great concept of democracy. This idea that each one of us it was self-evident that each one of us was considered equal. And what came to mind also was the conversation that Abraham Lincoln had in the movie Lincoln when he talks about Euclid's first common notion. And Euclid's first common notion states that things which are equal to the same things are equal to each other. Things that are equal to the same things are equal to each other. And what I felt was being shown to me was that in the quantum field, in this world of the etheric, that we are all equal. We are all have equal birthrights, and our votes are all considered valid and equal. And this idea that maybe in the temporal world that resources are unevenly distributed, say the wealth, the power, the money, water, food resources, they may be distributed unequally, but in the quantum field, on the level of the etheric, we are all equal. We are all one, and that our vote matters. But the challenge is, what's happened is no one taught us that our vote counts. And so how important it was for us to be educated about our birthright, about who we are on a larger level, and that how important it was for each of us to step up and vote. It's become very clear to me over time as I've really pondered these big questions, and I've watched the news and I watch people crumble at the news and all of these things, that really this whole kind of quote scariness in the news is really not about an increase in darkness. What I really believe is that it's due to an absence of light, that we are actually not invoking enough light. And that there are too many people who would prefer to have peace, but they're not really kind of owning it and taking a stand for it in their own hearts. And so we're not able to have that kind of influence in the field. And so the goal of the Albany Peace Project is to kind of educate people, to let them know about how they can be the hero, they can invoke the hero within, to vote with their hearts, to see more of what they'd like to see in the world. And so that's become our motto, is vote with your heart to see more of what you want to see in your world, and that your heart vote matters, and it is important that you do vote. That to just kind of sit around and watch the news and feel victimized and powerless is not going to help at all. That means that you will be creating by default and not creating by intention. And so how important it is for all of us to step up. And so I just hope that those ideas, they're very inspirational. They kind of help you work with them to help you stay the course as you kind of go out into the world and get some feedback, and help you kind of keep moving forward to hit the same note going forward into this work. So now, moving on to some very practical tools, some to-do lists. First of all, I'd suggest that you reach out to the organizations in your city. And one of the first organizations I suggest you reach out to is to your Unity Church or your Unitarian Church. Those are communities that are much more predisposed to be interested in this type of work, especially unities. Unities, they're called unities. They get the whole idea of oneness, that we're all connected on this field. And so you will probably find by going there immediately a group of like-minded individuals who will support you in your endeavor. Next, I would suggest you reach out to interfaith groups, because a lot of world violence is due to the fact that religions are intolerant of each other. And so interfaith groups really get it, how important it is for people of different faith to come together and to pray together, and how symbolic that is for quelling global violence, how important that is. Certainly the Albany Peace Project was put together with this understanding that all faiths will never agree on doctrine, but we can agree to come together to use our healing intentions to eliminate human suffering. We can do that right now. So to help with that effort, you can see our 4-minute interfaith video below this video, and that video will help inspire you to help kind of bring this message out into the world as well. The next place I suggest you look is in your colleges and universities. Find what professors are gathering what type of data in your town and see what it is you want to measure. You could measure anything from fires to burglaries to shootings to traffic accidents, anything you want to do to influence. Take a moment and figure out what it is you'd like to measure, and then find a professor that may want to be willing to analyze the data. Also, mindfulness is spreading like wildfire on college campuses, so employing that as well. Other groups you could reach out to are alternative to violence groups, nonviolent communication groups, any community nonprofit that is big in your area, please reach out to them as well. So finally, I'd like to talk about regarding organizations is schools. Okay, I believe I've consulted or implemented full programs in about 24 schools right now, just in the Albany area, and it's been amazing to watch. This is a generation of kids that have so much inputted into their nervous system, they never get a chance to just be. And when they do get a chance to just be, they know they're touching a different place that they're not touching anywhere else in their lives. And the very kids that often resist meditation will start asking for it. And it's just been so beautiful to watch. So the way we do that, I would strongly recommend that you reach out to the Institute of Heart Math, which has some amazing work in reducing test anxiety and coherence in schools. Those types of things are really great. The model that we use, we often have kids, what I say, recalibrate up to 3 times a day during the school day, and I would have you complement the Institute of Heart Math work with the work of Calm Classroom. You could go to them, I believe it's calmclassroom.org. They have these wonderful textbooks that will help you with other mind-body tools to help kids kind of connect the mind and body. I've learned in years of biofeedback that biofeedback, we need both novelty and repetition to make change in the nervous system, and those two are a powerful combination. Okay, so finally, just for some fun, what really makes this whole thing move a whole lot more is some great music. And for any great revolution needs music. We've been calling this a quantum revolution based on the work of Dr. Michael Wayne. And so for this quantum revolution, some great music is in order. And to that end, we have collaborated with Mark Shepard, who is a self-proclaimed compulsive singer-songwriter. And we've written the theme song called Be the Change, which you can see in the video below this video as well. But I encourage you to not stop there. Mark is an amazing songwriter. He has a song for just about anything you've ever thought of. And he not only that, he is a Posse Award winner, which basically means that he has won an award for the positive music genre, and all of his themes perfectly, wonderfully dovetail into this type of work. So I strongly recommend that you check out Mark Shepard's website. So in closing, just again, think of Margaret Mead when she talks about how a small group of committed individuals truly can change the world. Remember that as you go forward, because people are going to come out of the woodwork with amazing minds, amazing hearts. They'll make you laugh, and they'll be with you if you cry, and you will just find that you're going to draw some of the most amazing people as you go forward. And if you ever get intimidated by the news, think of the quote by Victor Hugo, who has always encouraged me. He says, "All the forces in the world are not so powerful as an idea whose time has come." This idea has come into this time, and we are so blessed. I have often felt as though I've been given the cheat sheet for being a visionary, because people like Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, Gandhi, they didn't have the benefit of intentional research. They just had disciplined minds where they hit the same note over and over and over again. And I often wondered, how did they do it without the knowledge of intentional research? But we've been given that amazing gift. If we get steeped in this research, this work of Dr. Joe, the Institute of Heart Math, prayer research, Dr. Larry Dossey's work, if we get steeped in this work, then we have the confidence to move forward and to hold the note and to keep our visions and invoke the hero within to change the world. And I guarantee you that if you continue to walk this path, some of the most amazing opportunities will come your way, and you will just feel so blessed and so honored that all you will want to do is to keep going and continue going forward. So I'm looking forward to hearing about your amazing stories. We're also going to be putting together a website, the Global Peaceful Cities Project. We're going to be raising money for that now because we definitely are finding that we need it. There's a fundability page. We would love it if you'd consider donating for that as well. Also, we are going to we're going to be making the certification meditation leader training available online, and that will teach you about our protocol for the Peace Project, why we do what we do in our protocol. That will help you as there. Down the road, we could have some media kits, some texting that would help you. It's very helpful, the wording, those types of skills that we can offer down the road to help accelerate your efforts, and we'd be available for hourly consultation as well. So thank you so much. I'm so looking forward to hearing from you, and I wish you the absolute best. So Godspeed, and I'll hear from you soon. Bye-bye.